Hey everyone, Dumont Owen here, and it's Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about how to get more clients on LinkedIn by using a four-part social selling system. But before we get started, and I want to make sure that I can see the comments. Okay, show comments. Nope. Oh, no, we don't want that. Here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Um, the first thing I want to check and make sure of is that you can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Just let me know. Okay, if a little bit of housekeeping here, if you are on on watching this on Facebook, I will not be able to see your name. So you need to go, there should be a box up above me that you can just click and offer. Hey, Scott, you can. Oh, and good, you're hearing me. That's great. If you're on Facebook, you need to click the box above me and give Facebook permission to use your name. But you can ask questions anonymously. I'm fine with that. So here's what we're going to do today. LinkedIn. Doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's really a situation where if you just follow certain steps and you do certain things, then you can really attract the clients you want and attract them and also engage them and convert them. Now, LinkedIn works based on relationships. And the best relationships are built on mutual respect and trust and why is that important? Because people have to trust you before they're going to buy from you, right? Well, maybe not if they're going to buy, like a $10 item, but or even a $99 item. I know I would put my credit card out for that. But if you want to sell services that are $1,000, $2,000, people have to trust you before they're going to do that, before they're even going to agree to talk to you. So what we're talking about now is a system that is used specifically on social media to help you build the relationships and trust you need in order to sell your products. And they call that social selling. Now, LinkedIn has something that it calls the Social Selling Index. And I'm not going to be going through a bunch of PowerPoint slides today, but I just wanted to show you a couple that I think will make this just a little bit clearer. First of all, as I said, high ticket programs and services don't sell online, meaning that if you're selling something in that $997 to $1,000 and above range, you have to have a conversation. And in order for people to agree to that conversation, you have to have a relationship with them. We used to say that in order to buy, people needed to know you, like you, and trust you. Well, it's still the same. They still have to know you, like you, and trust you. We just do it a little bit differently online because you can't run next door and say, "Oh, here I am. You want to go out for a cup of coffee and we'll talk." It's a little bit more deliberative than that, but it's easily done. And I know when I work with my clients, they can get it done once they figure out the system. They can get it done in 15 to 30 minutes a day. So it doesn't have to be time consuming, but it does have to be sincere. It has to be honest, and it has to be it has to be based on integrity. Um, if you don't have integrity and if you aren't authentic about who you are and what you offer, no system is going to work for you. People spot that. People recognize it right away. So, so, oh, you're in Florence. I just saw that. Great. Okay, so let's look at the buyer's journey. Now, this is the journey that people go through when they're on social media, okay? And it's made up of three stages: awareness, consideration, and decision. Now, I'll tell you, most people concentrate on those people in the decision-making process. And that's great. You are going to be able to find some of those people, but realize that those are the people that most people are concentrating on. You're going to have a ton of competition at that point. But if you follow people throughout the buyer's journey, then you'll become familiar to them. You'll build a relationship with them. So by the time they get to that decision, they already know you, like you, and trust you, right? Okay, so in the awareness stage, that's when people know they have a problem. They're not sure what's causing it, but they know they have a problem. Perhaps, if we're looking back at 2022, they may have an income problem. It struck a lot of businesses. So they know they have the problem. They're searching for answers. They don't quite know the right questions, but they're searching for answers, and they may be checking people out on LinkedIn. So in this stage, they become aware of their problem and they're looking for a solution. And in this stage, 69%, no, I'm sorry, 19% of people who are in this stage say they would like to talk to a salesperson. Now, in the case of those of us who are solopreneurs or small business owners, I know I only have two people working for me. That's us, right? If you're going to purchase one of my programs, you're going to be talking to me. So that's a matter of that's the time when 19% of people who are in that stage want to hear from you. Okay, in the consideration stage, that's where people are, they know what the problem is now. They've got it well defined, but they don't know where to go with it. So they're looking for solutions. They are researching people online. They are looking at content, particularly on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the only platform that's totally based on business and totally focused on business. So they're going to be there and they're going to be checking out people who have the solutions to their problems. In that stage, a full 69% of people want to talk to a salesperson. So you can see, right there, we're really getting up there. We are, at just about, well, we're a little over. Actually, we're just about at 99%. Wait, I'm going to have to figure this out. Scott, I need your help. You're going to be just at about 99%. You're going to be at 88%. Well, that's a big chunk of people. That's a big chunk of people. So if you miss them in the first two stages, you're only going to be focusing on these people when they're in the decision-making stage, when they're ready to make that decision and purchase services. If you're waiting until that stage, there aren't a whole lot of people that are going to be looking for the first time, and you are going to have all the other individuals who are in your field or your industry competing for those same people. So it doesn't make sense to wait and just focus on people that you think are in that decision-making process. Okay. The four pillars of the social selling index. The social selling index is something offered by LinkedIn, and it's meant to help you gauge how well you are doing at what they call social selling. Now, social selling is the process of building relationships on social media, developing that trust, and then having people come to you when they're ready to make that decision. So this is the way that LinkedIn measures and gives you feedback on how well you're doing the four things that they know are productive in social selling. So the first one is creating a professional brand. Now, those of you who have been following me for a while know that I'm a personal and digital brand strategist. So this is right up my alley. But it really is having a powerful brand, knowing what you stand for, speaking in that authentic voice is so important. And it is absolutely the fastest way to develop those relationships with clients and get them on board. So creating a professional brand is huge. Finding the right people. Now, finding the right people is not a difficult process, but you need to know how to do it. And LinkedIn offers all kinds of great ways to find your ideal clients. You know, one of the things that I hear a lot from the people who engage my services is that they know that their ideal clients are on LinkedIn, but they don't know how to find them. And LinkedIn offers a number of ways to do that. You can do that if you understand how to use their advanced search function well. You can do it with Boolean operators. You can do it by looking at it, by searching. And this is something that I teach and will be teaching in a few weeks. You can actually use the search function to search for your to find your competitors' connections. Yes, you can actually do that. Now you have to be connected to your competitors. I connect with any and everyone who uses LinkedIn or who helps people work with LinkedIn. Because the thing is that those people in their network may be my ideal clients. And just because someone's in someone's network does not mean they're a client. And maybe they would like me better. So it's really a great tactic to be able to connect with someone who has the same audience and then search through their connections and find the ones that are a really good fit for you. Okay, enough said on that. Engage with insights. Now, this is the one that confuses people because, and I've heard it so many times, what the heck does engage with insights mean? Well, it means being active in your news feed. You can actually customize your news feed and teach LinkedIn only to bring you those subjects and those topics that you really want. It's a fabulous thing. I mean, you can actually customize that news feed to do that. So when you start seeing people in your newsfeed that are saying things, you start seeing your ideal clients, or you start seeing someone else who is really putting forth some great information on a topic. For instance, in my case, it might be personal or digital branding, or how to do various things on LinkedIn. Well, in order to engage with insights, what I do is I engage with those people. I like what they said, I comment on it, or and or share it. And here's something that you may not know. When you combine liking and commenting, or liking and sharing, it's more powerful, and you're helping those individuals get more of an audience just by doing that. So what's going to happen when you do that? Well, if someone is watching my news, or is watching what I'm doing, and they are engaging with it, they are saying something about the post, or better yet, they're sharing it with other people, then I'm going to get to know their names pretty quickly. And that's what happens. People, you're not diminishing your impact by sharing or recognizing what someone else does. You're doing a number of things. You are really helping out the person whose topic you're commenting on, or whose post you're commenting on. But you're also helping people in your network see, who that is, and see more, get more views on whatever topic it is. And you're doing a favor to yourself, because you're establishing yourself and positioning yourself as an expert who's really in the know, who's up on the latest things, because they start seeing your name everywhere. So there are no bad consequences for this. It's all good. And here's another little tip. LinkedIn, when it looks at engagements, at comments on people's profiles, counts those that have sentences of 5 words or more, and ideally a couple of sentences. One of the ways that I like to do it is make a comment and then ask an open-ended question, because that's going to start that engagement. It gives the person who posted it an opportunity to start a discussion, and it also gives you more of an opportunity to engage in a discussion. So again, it's all good. Now, the final pillar is building relationships. And this is what a lot of people miss. They don't understand the importance of building relationships. You know, I know if you've been on LinkedIn for more than 24 hours, you've had this experience. Someone sends you an invitation and it's personalized. It looks like they know who you are. They may say, "Oh, I see you're a coach," or, "Oh, your profile came up today and I looked at it and I thought, wow, we could really do business together. Would you like to connect?" Sounds good, sounds friendly. Check them out. They look like they're someone that has some services that you might be interested in, so you accept them. And then before you can even send that welcome message to thank them for inviting you to connect, which you should always be doing, because you're developing that relationship, right? So, but before you can even get that welcome message out, you get hit by a sales pitch, and it's an automated pitch. And it's usually, you can usually tell because it's clear that they haven't read even your headline. I mean, I get ones that are, "Hey, I can help you promote your brand on LinkedIn." Well, great, I can too. Or, "Hey, I know how to generate leads on LinkedIn. Would you like me to help you generate leads?" "No, I think I've got that handled." So what you want to do is, through a series of messages, you want to build that relationship, and you want to build it authentically, and you want to build it in a way that is going to establish mutual trust. And that isn't by sucking somebody in with an invitation that sounds like you want to build a relationship, but is actually the prelude to a heavy sales pitch. It just feels bad. And when somebody does that to me, I feel like they've been deceptive. I feel like they've tried to deceive me. Now, I instantly disconnect with them. You may not want to do that, especially if you're building your network. But I would I would suggest that you don't want a network full of people who are just trying to sell you something. You want a network full of people who may be your ideal clients, who can refer clients to you, who may be collaborators that you can work with. You want to build a targeted network. The size of your network is not as important as who you have in it, and that's Therese. Good for you. Therese just said she blocks them too. Yeah, I mean, it feels smarmy. It just feels smarmy. And with most of the people that I know, because I work with coaches, coaches, consultants, and other kinds of service providers, um, most of them don't want to do something like that. They don't want to use high pressure tactics. Okay, so let's move on and look at the social selling index. Now, I am going to, as always, I will send out the replay on this, and I'm going to send you a link that will take you to the social selling index, because up until recently, you had to have a paid service with LinkedIn. You had to have one of their premium services. So you couldn't see it unless you had Sales Navigator or one of the other premium services. But now you can. Now, when you are looking at this, up here you have your your position within your team. Well, only one of my team is actually registered. The other two don't use LinkedIn. So, hey, I'm number one out of one. That's great. Then it's going to give you your industry rank. And you can see in here that when I took this particular slide, I was in the top 1%. And then they're going to look at where you rank in your network. And there again, I was in the top 1%. So I had an 83% social selling index score, and it's updated once a week. Now, anything, here's the percentages, how LinkedIn breaks it down. In order to really be effectively doing social selling, you have to be over 40%. Okay, anything below that, they look at as really, really lacking in some of the areas. Anywhere between 41% and 70%, you're doing good. You are actually doing the right things for social selling. Anything above 70% is considered expert. You are on an expert level, and most of the people who are really working LinkedIn and really doing sales on LinkedIn are above that 70%. Excuse me a second. Okay. So in here you can see, well, I'm a brand strategist. So of course the first one, building a professional brand, I'm all the way over on. In finding the right clients, pretty good. I'm very careful about my network, so I'm not sending out a gazillion invitations a week. I'm sending out enough invitations and targeting those invitations so that my network is a really quality network that works for me. Engaging with insights, well, you can see right here, I wasn't doing as well with that. And that is consistently, I'm sorry to say, my lowest score, because I go on there every day, but I could actually do a better job of this. I tend to get, like most of us, involved with my clients, and so sometimes I fall down on that particular area. And then building relationships, I'm always good with that because I spend a lot of time building relationships on LinkedIn, because relationships are really what it's all about. And if you've been following LinkedIn and the kinds of changes they've been doing, you will see that they are really interested in engagement and in all kinds of things that can further engagement. And in a few weeks, I am going to be really doing a deep dive into that, of how you can really build engagements with people on LinkedIn. So watch for that, because that's all about how to do that and how to build those relationships. And you don't have to create content. I really want to emphasize that. I do it. It's still the fastest way to get attention and attract people to your profile, and then into your sales funnel. But it's not the only way. There are other ways to do it, and they can be very simple, and they all involve building relationships. Okay, so here is the way that I look at LinkedIn. Some time ago, well, let me tell you how I got here. This happened 7 years ago. I think it may have been 8 years by now, but it was right before Thanksgiving. And, I was having not a gazillion people over, but I was having, a small group of our good friends and family. And my husband was going to the store. I think he was getting whipping cream for me. And I realized that I needed one more thing. And so I ran down the stairs, from my office where I am now. I ran down the stairs. I did what I always did. I swung around. I put my hand on the wall at the first landing, swung around, and I slipped and fell down the stairs and fractured my pelvis in 5 places. It was a year before I was out of pain. And during that year, my business just fell apart. It just simply fell apart. So it took me a while to first of all bring myself out of depression because I was feeling really sorry for myself, which is not a good not something that I like saying, but I was not handling this well. So it took me a year to get out of that situation, to start feeling better. And then I realized I had to make money, and I had to make money fast. Everybody talks about money, but people don't talk about the speed. And LinkedIn is absolutely the best way I know to make money fast. And here's why. Some of you, I bet you, Scott, that you were familiar with this stat. About 80% of B2B leads that come from social media come from LinkedIn. Seriously. And LinkedIn users are more affluent than users on other social platforms. So not only can they appreciate your services because they're professionals and they're there to do business, but they can also afford your services. And that's a key piece. So I realized that I had to do something, and I really started working LinkedIn. Now, this was back in the day when they were telling you to send out 500 invitations a week. You can't do that anymore. And it's a good thing because you can't develop relationships with people that way. You can't develop relationships with yeah, I see that. You can't develop relationships on that kind of massive scale. So I developed my own system, and I took this system. I started working with a women's resource center or business center here, and I started teaching these classes on my system. And over a period of several months, I was able to test it and refine it and get it down to where it is today, because I wanted to know that I could do this, that I could build relationships, in 15 to 30 minutes a day. Now, I often go back and do things during the day. So it's not that that's the only time I do it, but I have clients who do it with between 15 and 30 minutes a day, and it works. So here's what you need to do. There are 4 stages, and the first stage is clarity. And this is the stage that everyone misses. You can't get to some place. You can't offer people programs if you're not clear about things. So you have to be clear about your goals, because your goals are going to require different strategies. If your goal is to become known as a thought leader, you're going to have a different strategy or different strategies and tactics on LinkedIn than if it's to attract more clients, to grow your network right now. So, really, your goals have to be based on your business goals. And you also have to get real clarity around your niche. Who are the people that you are looking for, and what do they need? So once you know those things, the next thing you have to get clear on is your personal brand. Well, you knew I was going to bring that up because I'm a brand strategist, but you really do have to get clear on that, because everything you do, the way you build your profile, the way you produce content, the way that you message people, all of those things reflect your brand. And that's why building a professional brand is such a key thing on LinkedIn, and why it is the number one pillar that you see when you look at your social selling index. So clarity leads to strategy and tactics, and that's all good. The second stage is about awareness. Now, this is talking about getting people aware that you're there, aware of who you are, what you offer, all of that. So the first thing you want to do in there is really get clear on or really develop a powerful LinkedIn profile, one that reflects your brand, one that really speaks to your niche. Okay, we are often tempted, oh gosh knows, we are all tempted, I think, to start off with convincing people that we're the right one, that we have these amazing, amazing qualities, and that's why people should hire us. Um, that doesn't work. People want to know what you can do for them. What's their favorite topic? Well, it's them, because they want to know what you can do, where you fit into their business goals, and they want to know how you're going to do that. So a lot of your profile is about your clients. We call that a client-centered profile. And when you have a client-centered profile, they know when your ideal clients hit your profile, they know that they're in the right place because you are speaking to them. And that's really, really important, because remember, people have very short attention spans now, very short, within seconds. I've forgotten the latest one. I think it was that people make up their minds about whether to stay on your profile within 4 seconds. So, it's a quick decision. The other thing that you do in this particular stage is you start looking at content marketing, and you can use that with your profile. I'm not going to go into creator mode today. That's a whole class in itself. But understand that creator mode, when you turn that on your profile, that gives you the ability to offer a LinkedIn newsletter. You can do that as once a day, many times as once a day. You can do live streams like what I'm doing right now. And they even have an audio version now, so that you can do audio messaging. You can do something similar to a podcast. So there are all kinds of ways that you can do that. But even if you decide not to use creator mode, you can still record videos, upload images, upload pictures of your free gift, of your lead magnet, um, videos of testimonials. All of those things can be included on your profile, and that really increases your chances of being found, not only on LinkedIn, but on Google. If you've ever Googled yourself, and if you do Google yourself, be sure to put your name in parentheses, because that's how it's going to work. So if you've ever Googled yourself, you know that your LinkedIn profile shows up right at, oh, Scott, thank you. 4 to 7. Scott just told me 4 to 7 seconds to make a decision about your profile. Thanks, Scott. So what was I going to say? I got distracted because I saw that. Oh, if you Googled yourself, you know that your LinkedIn profile is going to be in the top 3 of the results. It could be number 1. I know with me it's number 1. So that is a very big deal. And the link and the headline that you have on your profile is if it's optimized correctly, is the most valuable search engine optimization, real estate, if you will, that you could have online. So your LinkedIn profile, and getting it right and making it client-centered, and using the right words and the right keywords and reflecting your brand, is just so amazingly important. Okay. Now, the third stage is lead generation. And remember, I told you there are different ways of doing lead generation, or doing engagement, which is a lot of what lead generation is about. But the first part is prospecting. Remember when we were talking about the social selling index? One of them was finding the right people. Well, that's what prospecting is. It's knowing how to find them, and then connecting with them, which is the second part. Now, I'm going to give you a little tip here. Um, LinkedIn, it seems like everywhere you look on LinkedIn, they have an opportunity to connect with people, to click a connect button. You know what that connect button does? It sends them a generic invitation. Hi, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. Well, you know what that says to me? It says you didn't take the time to even look at my profile and reach out to me and suggest why you want to connect with me. So instead of hitting all those connect buttons they give you, go to that individual's profile, hit the connect button, and then it's going to offer you the opportunity to write a note that is 300 characters. Now, 300 characters, including white spaces. And be aware that LinkedIn counts W's and M's is like two spaces. So you have to be careful there. That's where having some idea of what you're going to say and being able to reuse that in ways can really speed up the process. But you want to go to their profile, you want to find something on that profile that you can relate to, and then send them that personalized request. Try it. You're going to find that you have a much greater response rate when you do that. And then finally, lead generation is about nurturing those connections. And that's the building relationship piece. That's about entering into conversations. That's about engaging with the content that they post. That's about offering them suggestions. It's about, finding things that might be of interest to them and letting them know about it. It's about sharing some things that you might have. You might have a great article that just fits in with what their problem might be or their industry might be going through right now. And that would be a great way to do a direct message. Understand that direct messaging is the number one way that people is the number one way to get people eventually to off of LinkedIn and into a sales conversation with you. That is the step that's going to make that happen. Now, the final stage is sales and analysis. I don't know about you, but I just hate feeling like I'm being pushy, phony, or manipulative. And when I first was taught how to do sales, oh my gosh, and I'm sure that most coaches get this advice. It was like, you talk to them about their problems and then you drag them down. You really get them mired in those problems. How is this affecting your life? How is it affecting this? How is it affecting your family? Is it affecting your spirituality? You know, really get them really, really down. And then you offer your solution as this shining light. Well, that feels pushy, phony, and manipulative to me. So, in this stage, you want to develop a sales conversation, a sales script, if you will. Not that you have to follow it all the time, but a process that you can take people through that doesn't feel pushy, phony, or manipulative. And it takes a while, but you know what? There are a ton of them out there. There's a lot of advice on it. I teach a session on scales. No, it's sales, Dumont. And in 2 weeks, on I believe that's January 4th, I'm going to have Mark Bernard on, and Mark is an expert on sales. And if you're interested in doing sales and working with businesses and corporations, you really want to be here for that one because Mark wrote the book. I mean, he is absolutely amazing. So, that's on the 4th, and we will be inviting you very shortly. Okay, the other piece of this is analysis. Now, way back in the first section or the first stage, we set our goals, remember? So when we set our goals, we're also going to identify the metrics, those key performance indicators that tell us whether what we're doing is working or it isn't. Now, the social selling index gives us some really good insight. But the other thing that does it is by knowing the right metrics and following them. For instance, if you're trying to build your network, you might be looking at things like profile views, or you might be looking at, how many times you turn up in searches. There are all kinds of ways that, you can identify the right metrics, and knowing them is going to really help you stay on track. And the social selling index is one that you should, I hate that word, but it's one that will really help you stay on track. So I will put that link in the replay when I send it out. So watch for it. It will be out today or tomorrow, when we get the recording set up. Now, some of you have been asking me about when I'm going to offer the lucrative LinkedIn system again. I'm going to be starting the class on January 7th. And this is the last time I'm going to be offering it at the price point that I'm offering it now. I raised my prices in March, and that would be the next one. So I'm going to drop a link here for you. And I will also, did it go in? Yeah. And I'll also put it in the replay. It's based on the lucrative link. Well, it is the lucrative LinkedIn system, and it's a 6-week course involving group coaching and private strategy sessions, in addition to a support group that can give you support along the way. You need those raving fans who are going to say, keep it up. And I know that in the support group, sometimes, in fact, it often happens, one of your fellow students can give you really great insight, and it may be something better than what I'm thinking of. That's the beauty of a support group, and it's also an accountability group, because there's one thing I want you to do. I want you to finish the course, and I want you to do it in 6 weeks. Now, something I do that a lot of people don't, but I feel very strongly about it, is that I have a commitment that if you take my course once, you can take it as many times as you want after that for free, because LinkedIn is constantly changing, constantly. So, and I also offer an update session each time. So, if you're interested, follow that link, check out the lucrative LinkedIn system, and we'll go from there. So I am going to throw this open and see, does anybody have any questions for me right now? Okay. If there have been times in the past when I have not been able to see comments. And Therese, I think that was you last time, but this time you're coming through. So something worked differently this time. So if you have questions and you're on the replay, feel free. Just send them to my LinkedIn, connect with me, and do it from my profile. Send me an invitation connect that says you were on this, you saw this replay, you saw Get More Clients on LinkedIn with the 4-stage or 4-step social selling system. Boy, that's a long title. But tell me that you were just you just saw my presentation and you have a few questions. I'm always happy to answer questions. Okay, well, listen, wait. Oh, thank you. Oh, Tom, thank you. Thank you. Really glad to see that. And I got your message, and I am totally planning on following up with you. So everyone, if I don't talk to you this week or before the holidays, have a fabulous holiday season, and drive safely, be careful, and just have a joyous and peaceful time. Thank you. Bye now.